Buenos días para todos. Gracias a quienes se están conectando a la sesión de hoy. Vamos a estar hablando de Prodigy Finance, que es una plataforma de financiación para estudiantes que asisten a escuelas de negocios o a instituciones de posgrado participantes. Recuerden que pueden ir haciendo las preguntas durante la sesión, las pueden ir dejando en el chat y al final vamos a tener una sesión cortica de preguntas y respuestas y bueno, las vamos a estar respondiendo. Para empezar, el día de hoy nos acompaña Mariana, ella es representante de Prodigy Finance y nos va a estar haciendo una presentación de en qué consiste todo este programa, cómo pueden participar. Welcome and thank you so much for being here, Mariana.
Thank you, Carolina. It's great to be here, and hello to everyone. Do you want me to start?
Yes, now you can start the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, great. So just give me a second and I'll share my screen.
Sure.
Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Great, perfect. So my name is Mariana Alcocer. I'm Colombian as well. So it's great to be here and to be talking to all of you. I'm going to be taking you through a quick kind of presentation of what Prodigy Finance is, what the company is like, where we started, who we are, what we do, and then a bit more about our loans, how they're structured, what the journey is, and then kind of give you the first few steps and just open up for questions. So as Carolina was saying, feel free to pop into the chat any questions that you have, and at the end I can kind of go through that. So we always like to start with these presentations telling you about Prodigy and how it started. And really our mission has always been to remove funding as a barrier to education. We believe that students from everywhere around the world should have access to the best programs globally. And what we do is bring in the funding to make that happen. So the company started in 2007, so it's been 13 years. And it was by 3 MBA students who were South African trying to get to a school in Europe and not really finding any alternatives for them. So because there were international students going to France, finding resources in France was very difficult because they didn't have a credit history in the country and had kind of no history there. And finding resources in South Africa was very difficult because no one would give them euros, no one would kind of understand what the problem is. When they finally managed to get to INSEAD, they realized this is a bigger problem than just the three of them. It's a problem that was global, and they really set out to solve it. So that's really where Prodigy Finance started. And today, it's been 13 years. We've worked with over 20,000 students around the world. We have a network of 850 schools at this point. Globally, we have offices in London, Cape Town, and New York. I'm based in London. And we've dispersed over $1 billion and support students from 150 nationalities. So really it's thinking about making it as global as possible and as extended as possible. Our model is a bit different. So we're not a bank. So the loans that we give out to students are not our own funds. But what we do is we connect three key pieces. So we connect students such as yourself that are looking to go abroad to study, to the schools that we support, and to investors. So we bring in institutional and community investors that we will match to your loans. And so today, again, this started 13 years ago with business schools, and we've continued to grow since then. So we went from business to engineering, law, public policy, health, and we added science just last year. And we just continue to expand every year to really support as many students as we can and to make this mission as big as possible. So how it works, I'll take you a little bit through kind of our process. I'll first explain the advantage of Prodigy Finance, what it is, and then what's the journey. So I'll go through the advantage. Our loans are, again, educational loans. We do no cosigner and no collateral for all of our loans. And we have quite flexible repayment terms. So depending on kind of our funding availability in the school you're going to, you're going to be able to do 7, 10, 15, and sometimes 20-year repayment terms, completely up to the student. The process is done fully online. So you go on our website and I'll take you a bit through that. You will complete everything within probably 30 minutes, around that time, and you will get an offer between right then and the next couple of days, right? Our loans are have quite competitive interest rates, and we make it very clear to you what kind of the fees are. So there's no hidden fees, no kind of additional cost to our loans. We have a 5% administration fee that we explained right away. It's not required upfront. There's no payment upfront. And then kind of all of the loan is dispersed through the school. So we remove the hassle a bit of that from that student. Repayment, and that's a big thing for us. Students will not do any repayment through their course and until 6 months after they finish classes. This is for full-time courses. So throughout your course and after you've graduated, we give you some time to also settle into your new role. And again, there's no hidden fees or penalties. So there's no penalties for early repayment or early settling of the loan. Then the student loan application journey. I know this is a lot in a slide, but I'll kind of take you quickly through what it means and what it is, so you get a better sense, and I'm happy to answer questions on it. So as I was saying, it's fully online. You go onto our website, prodigyfinance.com, and apply. And that will be quite quick. The next thing you'll do is check on eligibility. So you have to go through kind of a process that we have internally, and that is quite simple. The key components of this is that you're going to a school that we support. So we encourage you to go on prodigyfinance.com and check out the schools that we support at the moment, and that you're an international student. So if you're a Colombian going to the UK or to the US, that already qualifies you if you were not living in the US for the last 12 months. Then after that, we'll do a verification check. So that just means we ask you for some of your documents so that we can review those in comparison to kind of the application that you sent in. And then as we underwrite your loan, you'll get into like a ready to match stage. So what that means is you're ready to be matched to some of the funds that we have available from our investors, and you will then get a matching, and you'll get an email saying you were matched to funds, and you're able to kind of accept that. And then from there, you'll get a loan agreement that you can sign. So when you go to your country of study, and again, with COVID and some of the travel regulations, we've been a bit sort of understanding of the different restrictions. So we can also work with you if you're not able to travel. You can sign from your home country. But typically what we do is once you arrive in your country of study, everything is done online anyway, but you'll be able to then sign your loan agreement. Then once your loan agreement is signed, you can kind of lay back, not think about the financing piece. Again, since we will do the disbursement straight to the school. So you don't have to worry about us sending money to you to then send money to the school. Everything is done directly. And again, what I was saying in terms of repayment, after you're finished with your journey in 6 months after, you will start repayment. So just quickly on like the first few steps in the application, you'll check on our website, again, prodigyfinance.com. That's what you'll see when you go on there. And those are the 3 key things on eligibility. So that you're planning to study abroad, that you want to study at a school that we support, and you'll see the list there, and that you're from a country or a state that we support. So all of those elements you'll see there. As you go in, you'll find kind of a school search tool where you can find your school. So you go in here, you click on where that arrow is, and you search for the school. Then it'll show up, and it'll give you a bit of information of what are the programs that we support, what fields of study, what are kind of the specifics there. And then from there, you can take a look at what other students we've lent to at those programs. And then you can like join our list or create the application straight from there. So it's quite a simple process. I encourage you all to kind of go onto the website and explore a little bit. You'll be able to see some more information on kind of an example of a full loan and the repayment and everything that comes into that. As I was saying, again, loan repayments, we've really worked with kind of internally to make sure that everything is structured around the student and thinking about the student firsthand. So we have payments from our mobile app. Again, the repayment terms are quite flexible and are available for students to select, and the repayment starts 6 months after the end of classes. So that's kind of everything that I wanted to take you through. Just wanted to give you some information on where to reach out to us. We're always available for any questions or any additional things that you might have. There's email, call, chat. I recommend going on chat because we always have agents that are very quick on there to support any of your needs. And we also have quite a cool thing that we created this year, which are ambassadors. So it's students just as yourselves that went through this process before, that took loans with Prodigy Finance, and you're able to actually chat with them and ask them questions about the journey or just any questions that you might have. They're available for you. So I'd recommend going on the website and taking a look at those. And that's all. We have a bunch of kind of content that we continue to create, a little bit of webinars, a bit of just additional content for international students. So always welcome to kind of join us in our Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. But that was all that I wanted to bring today. I wanted to keep it very short so I can answer questions and kind of high level to show you who we are, what we do. Again, as I was saying, as a Colombian, I'm always very happy to kind of speak to students from my country as well, and to kind of be here to support the students. So happy to kind of open up for questions, and thank you all for joining.
All right, thank you so much, Mariana, for this presentation. Okay, so now we can start the Q&A. We have a couple of questions here. Edwin is asking, good morning, Mariana. Is Prodigy Finance financing masters in Australia, specifically to Monash University? Or when could Prodigy open the market to finance postgraduate programs in Australia? Thank you very much.
Of course. So thank you, Edwin, for the question. So as I was saying, we expand every year, and we're looking to support more schools as we go. At the moment, we don't support Monash University, but we have had some conversations with them, and we continue to explore that. So it's definitely something that we're looking at. We don't support them at the moment, unfortunately, but Australia is a market that is open for us to kind of expand into. So I think it's more of kind of securing those partnerships with the universities.
All right, thank you. And Denise is asking, how much time does it take the loan approval?
Yeah, so that is a bit dependent on the application that you send in. So typically, as I was saying, you will submit your application. That shouldn't take you very long, let's say a 30-minute estimate. And then after that, we'll send you a provisional offer. So you will right away know kind of the information on the amount that we would lend to you, the rate that we would lend you at. So you'll get that information right away. However, from that to get a loan approval is a bit different, because as you accept a loan provisional offer, we're going to start to ask you for documents. So documents means a proof of identity, a proof of admission, sort of banking information, that sort of thing. And what I recommend the students always is to submit all of your documents right away, so that our teams internally can take a look at everything and then begin the underwriting process. So right now, what we're saying to students is the underwriting process will take around 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then Carla Martinez is asking, could you please send us the link where we can check if our university is included in this finance program? Thanks.
Of course. So I think if you hit prodigyfinance.com, and I can write this out, prodigyfinance.com, there within the student loans tab, you'll see the school search that I kind of showed the picture of, but I'll write this in.
Perfect. Thank you. Juan Sebastian is asking if the university is not listed on the webpage tool, there is no possibility to apply for the loan, is there?
So, so again, we only give out loans to students going to schools that we support. So if we don't support the university, we can't give you a loan. However, what I recommend is for students that are looking at universities that are not on our list to request a school. So within the school search piece, you'll be able to see kind of a can't find your school, click here, and you can request schools. So we continue to work on our efforts to expand and to look at other universities. However, this sometimes takes a bit of time. So it's not guaranteed that if you submit kind of a request for a school that we would be able to support it right away. But it's always sort of welcome any kind of expansion opportunities. And we're always looking to kind of go to other universities. So it's a bit of a long answer to your question, but as if we do not support a school, we cannot give a loan to a student from that school. But if you want us to consider a school, send it to us and we will.
All right. And Valeria is asking, can we use the loan to cover other expenses, such as cover living expenses?
Yep. So this depends. So our loans go from $15,000 to a maximum of 80% cost of attendance, which means cost of attendance to us is living expenses plus tuition. But again, this depends on the university that we're working with. So for some universities, we do not cover living expenses. What I recommend is kind of going onto our website and taking a look at the university that you're interested, and within that, you'll see the information on living expenses or not. But we do cover living expenses, just not at all universities.
Okay, clear. Then Maria Esther is asking, good morning, my name is Maria. I am very sorry for being late. What are the requirements for applying to Prodigy? Maybe we can make a little recap. I want to say also that we are going to share the presentation with you, the recording. So for all the people attending this presentation, we will send the link in a couple of days. So don't worry.
Perfect. So just a quick recap on requirements for applying. I think there's three major things. So it's first that you're going to a school that we support. Second, that you're an international student. So that means that you are going abroad to study. So not if you've lived in the US and are going to study in the US, basically. And then the third one is that you're from a market that we support. And if you are all Colombian, you're from a market that we support. So.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Then Danielle is asking, I am going to study the MBA at IE Business School. I see the school, but when I want to select the course, the page shows the message, no courses found. What do I have to do, or I can't apply?
At the moment, unfortunately, we do not support IE Business School, but you can submit a request for the school. I'll take a look on the website to see where it's appearing, but unfortunately, it's not a school that we support at the moment.
Okay, this one is a very good question from Hector. He says, thank you for your time, Mariana. Is there any issue applying for both Colfuturo and Prodigy Finance? Or is there the Prodigy Approval Committee acquainted with Call Futuro and encourage both applications to be submitted by candidates?
Yeah, so you can definitely apply for both. I think within the application, you'll see a bit of a budget section. So where you'll enter how you plan to pay your program, and then from there, how much you want to lend. So what we encourage students is always kind of to bring in the information of if you have other loans, or if there's any other things of the sort, then we would also take that into account. But of course, you can apply for both. It's something that we would take a look at.
All right. Okay, the next question from Juan Bolivar. It was just answered. He says, hi, Mariana, the loan is restricted to university cost or can be used to cover maintenance. And Mariana said that it depends on the university, right?
Yeah, no, we do cover living expenses, just not at all universities. So please check your university, but we do cover living expenses.
Okay. Alejandra is asking, good morning. Sorry for being late. I would like to know what is the percentage of the interest rate of the loan?
Yeah. So each offer is unique to the student, to the application that you're submitted, where you're going and everything. Our loans start at 6.7% APR. So basically our interest rates are calculated from kind of a fixed interest rate plus a 3-month US LIBOR. So the fixed rate starts from 6% plus the 3-month US LIBOR.
All right. Then Denise is asking, do I need to be working at the time that I am applying to the loan?
So you don't need to be working. It's something that we'll ask. And if you do, we'll ask for kind of proof of work as well. So it's something that we'll request. Again, all of these things would be stuff that goes into kind of your loan review and your credit review. So you don't need to be working, but it's definitely something that we look at.
Then we have a student that is already applying. He's asking, I am currently applying to Prodigy, but I have had issues finding the credit score report that is requested by the system. I used the TransUnion website that you recommended, but I am not being able to find a report. How does the report should look like?
So each report is a bit different with the different countries, and I was aware that there was an issue. I would recommend reaching out to our kind of staff, and they'll help you get through to it. So if you chat with us, that's probably going to be the best way to get kind of a specific answer for your needs.
Thank you. Then there's a question from Jorge. Do we need to have visa and everything assured before the loan, I guess, or just with the school acceptance is enough?
So you don't need a visa before the loan. As a matter of fact, students will usually use our loan confirmation letters for their visas. So for the loan, what you'll need is that proof of admission to the school, the university. To be able to move on with the loan, you can actually apply without having that. So long story short, you don't need to have the visa to apply for it, just the school admin.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. We have a few questions more. David is asking, I received a payment plan when applying for the loan. Is it scheduled to be paid in? No, it is scheduled to be paid in 15 years. If I want or I can, could I pay it in less time?
Yes, definitely. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying there's no hidden fees and you can always do early repayment. So like a lot of our students that take 15-year loans or 10-year loans, you are always welcome to kind of pay it in less time if you do really well and you want to pay it off early.
Right, then Tania Morales is asking, do I have to live with a good level of English? I think leaving the country to start studying.
So no, we don't take a look at your level of English. I think the English piece is definitely through kind of the application. But we support schools in France, in Germany, in Spain, in many other places. So English is not kind of a prerequisite. What we need again is that school admit.
Okay, then Jorge is asking, and in my case, my college is Holt IBS, and they have the 1-year MBA plus a 6-month MBA specialization, but it's on a different country. Is there any issue or is it fine?
Yeah. So typically our loans are for 1 year. So if you go, for example, to do a 2-year program, you do a loan for the first year and a loan for your second year. So I think with Halt, it would be the same case where you would take a loan for the first year and then a loan for your second year. And I think at that point, what you would have to do is in your application, specify for that 6-month specialization that it's in a different country. I don't foresee that there being any issues, but again, my recommendation would always be to like chat with us and just reach out to us and give us that information. We are always here to help.
Well, Laura Herrera is asking, do I need to be already admitted to the school to apply or to be accepted for the loan?
So you don't need a school admit to apply. You can apply at any point before, but you will need a school admit in order to be able to get a loan approval. So in order to move through our underwriting process, you will need to prove that you have that school admit.
Right, and we have one last question from Juan Bolivar. He says, German embassy, the German embassy asks to have a certain amount of money in the saving account to get a visa, a student visa. If I get the loan, will they keep asking for it, or I can show the loan approval?
So I cannot give you specific country kind of recommendations around visa specifics. What I can say is we do have our loan confirmation letter that a lot of students use. What I would recommend is talking to your school. Schools are more than kind of aware of our loan letters, and they help with students. They help their students all the time through kind of the visa process. So my recommendation is to go to your school, tell them that you're working with Prodigy, that you're planning on using a visa, our loan confirmation letter, and I'm sure the school will be happy to help you.
Right. Well, we have 2 questions more.
Yeah.
David is asking, what would happen if I get the loan approved, but then my student visa is denied and I have to move deferred for the next year?
Yep, of course. So the first thing, I'll break that up into 2 pieces. The first thing is all of the kind of the loan journey that I explained. You don't need to take the loan until the loan is actually signed. So through kind of the underwriting and the matching process and all of that, if you decide that you don't want to take the loan, you don't have to continue with it. There's no legal obligation. So again, if you are, I don't know, at a loan approved stage and you hear about kind of your visa, or if there's any reason why you decide not to go to study, you don't have to take the loan. You don't sign the loan agreement when you receive it. Then on a different side, if you want to defer for next year, that's something that you can like reach out to us. and talk about typically if it's a full year, if it's 6 months, we can kind of work with the student to defer their application. If it's a full year, we'll request students to reapply the next year, as kind of we'll need to review all of your documents as well for underwriting.
All right, but he's also asking about that question, but my approval will be kept, or will I have to apply again?
So again, typically when it's a full year, we ask a student to reapply. So you would have to reapply. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Denise is asking, I understand it's not necessary to have a co-debtor, like a co-signer in France, for example, but will I need support from other person from Colombia?
No, so you do not need collateral or a co-signer in France or in Colombia or in anywhere.
And the last question, Alejandra Orjuela asks, what is the maximum amount of the loan?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this before, but
Yes.
our loans go from a minimum of $15,000 to a maximum that is kind of determined by the school that you're going to. So typically it's going to be 80% cost of attendance, which is the sum of tuition plus living expenses. So what that means, it'll depend on the school that you're going to and what the tuition and the living expenses are for that.
Right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today in this presentation. Thank you, Mariana, so much for this useful information. And if you have any question, she just sent the page, the web page, you can check the information. And if you have any question, you can write an email, you can check the page. That's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Carolina, for the time and the space. Again, everyone, if you have questions, there's still stuff that is unclear, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Prodigy. I think through kind of our social media or through chat, we're always very responsive. We're here trying to help and to support students. So that was all from my side. I hope I answered all of your questions.
I think so. Well, goodbye. Have a good day. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a nice day. Hasta luego. Gracias.